Okay, so this is going to be the Belle Collective, Season 7, Episode 1. And before we actually start the episode, we get a little montage of all the collectives getting into their confessionals. And the main question was, how does everybody feel about the beef between Latrice and Letitia? Because how does it affect the group? And pretty much everybody on the same page is just saying like, yeah, it's split now. Nobody really knows what side to pick, or should we be neutral, but it's a little awkward. And when it comes to Tisha and Latrice, I mean, Tisha, she moving on, she don't care, whatever. She can kind of hope that maybe, whatever. But forget Latrice, and Latrice is on the same page. Like, girl, boo. Latrice, who? Letitia, who? Girl, I don't even know her. That's dirt on the ground. And I'm like, okay, Latrice, let's keep that same energy this whole season. That's what it's going to be. Divided collective, Latrice versus Letitia. Let's start the show. So Letitia, we get her first, of course. Say what Miss Belle Collective herself. And she is starting a new endeavor, which will be a talk show. Okay. So they're doing this whole talk show thing, which I probably could have fast forward through it, but it's all right. Her first guest is Letitia Scott, and she is from the show Love and Marriage Huntsville. Me personally, I don't watch that, so but I do know about it. She married to Marceau and all those things. Is he cheating? Is he not cheating? Those type of rumors. Boo boo boo. But anywho, first guest interview went well. Talking on the side, Letitia does her thing, job, family, husband, life, whatever, whatever. It was that figuring out the balance of, not just being a housewife and doing something for yourself and, things like that. So Letitia, in rebuttal to that, or in comparison, should I say, with where she at in her life, Glenn is still same old Glenn. Okay, I don't think he's gonna change. I mean, he can't change. At this point, y'all been together since y'all was 17, okay? Which makes it pretty much, I guess that's the main reason why she won't leave him if left. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. Been together with him for all your life. Don't know nothing else. What else is out there? What is you gonna find better? All that stuff go through your mind. She's, little thickums. So, people gonna think I'm cute, people gonna think I'm ugly, go through all that things in your mind, whatever. But wherever she gonna do, I'm sure she'll be fine. But the main thing is, when she left Glenn the first time, remember, she ain't had no money. So that depending on him is kind of like, no, we can't do that no more. Let me do my own thing, make my own money. She always got a million jobs that she say she got with this Letitia Enterprise. But every time she do something, Glenn don't like it. I think Glenn just would rather have her sitting at home, just being an old housewife, cooking his meals, taking care of the son, that type. But nope, she want to be out here doing what she got to do, being independent. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's something that's gonna be rough in a relationship, and I'm sure we're gonna hear all about it. And it looked like Cedric is the same old Cedric too. Okay, so we get Miss Marie Monroe, and she at the office having little Zuri, her daughter, help her out with some paperwork, things like that. Teach her, starting to get her up in there, teach her the game a little bit. And they're having a discussion about her dad, which is Cedric. Like, you know, Marie just pretty much lets her know, like, your dad. I mean, pretty much disrespecting her. He decided to continue to talk to his ex while he was engaging in the dating, that situation that him and Marie was in. And for her, remember, it was like this journey of getting back to know each other, getting back to a good place to where eventually maybe we can move into, we would be back each other, maybe get married, things like that. But baby steps with the dating world. With that, I believe it was supposed to be exclusive on each other's end. I think, she had to break up she left a white boy, or what was he, a German or something like that, for Cedric. But Cedric did not leave his ex for her. So Maria is devastated. Like, oh my God, I cannot believe he would do this to me again. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe they'll break up. I don't see her getting back with him because same old, same old. Bloop, she ain't like Tisha. So we see the newbie, Miss Carrie, and her husband, I think is Mike, right? Okay, I gotta get his name. Carrie and Mike. And she is planning a birthday. She's turning 44 and, want to do something, obviously not too big, not too small, but something just right. Using a Love Jones theme. Everybody know Love Jones, the movie with Tay Diggs and Nia Long. Okay. So she's out looking for venues, her and her man, and they sit down to discuss, what's going on and things like that, who they inviting. Of course, she's gonna invite all the Bells. It's just, what about this Latrice and Letitia thing? I'm obviously friends with both of them, so being in the middle, it's a bit awkward, but we're gonna invite everybody and just hopefully hope for the best. She's gonna try to play peacemaker this season with them, so we'll see how it goes. On the other hand, with her life, she got that brick and spoon is her restaurant, and Biloxi, I believe, is her main hub, but she branched out to Mobile, and it's the Mobile location that's kind of like not where it's supposed to be. So, the struggle is real. Everybody know how restaurant business go, especially when it's a new one and after COVID. COVID kind of messed up a whole bunch of stuff, right? But it is what it is, she hanging in there. And hopefully, her and her husband, or really, it's not her husband's business, but either way, hopefully things will work out for her. You know what? I honestly can't with Glenn with this old traditional man crap, and you don't want her to be independent. Like, nigga, it is 2026. Bitch has been working since 1950, 40. I don't even know when the hell they started putting us to work. But whenever it was, because, when wars and stuff started happening, things like that, yeah. Listen, we started making money and we figured out, hey, we can do both. We can work, we can come home, we can get the kids together, we can make dinner, and the man can come home and he can get his food and watch his TV and have his beer and all that stuff. And whoop-de-whoop, happy good old day, right? Yay. But guess what? It has changed more than that to where women is everywhere and all these types of jobs and businesses and bosses and things like that. Working. Independent, loving themselves, self-care, okay? Loving their children, boom, and loving their spouses, the ones who have them, okay? And the man is just fine with it. For the most part, he's still taking care of the bills, still taking care of home, all that stuff, and just letting her do her thing on the, don't bother. What? I can't, because I just can't with that. I don't know. He just want her to be sitting at home, housewife. Then why you ain't give her? See, they only got one kid. If that was the case, you should have been popping the whole bunch of babies in the ass, so she'd be sitting at home barefoot. She ain't got no time to go nowhere. And then your ass don't quit your job, so you ain't got nothing else to do but to sit at home looking at her ass. So, see, that's the other thing. Like, why you go quit your job to be doing nothing, and now she wanna be doing something, and now what, you because you bored now? Like, I just can't with Glenn. It's a whole lot that goes into that crap that she need to figure it out, because yes, she wanna go, but she just don't know. Then we see good old Miss Latrice, and she is over there at Taste with Cliff, trying to get that business together and things like that. Things is going just fine for her and Cliff. I believe they figured out that living situation or whatever, but you know, she got the invite from Carrie, so she said, we're gonna go to the party, but this business between me and Latrice, like none, none, no interactions. They can stay over there, and I can stay over here, and Carrie can have a great birthday party, right? And we ain't gonna right. No mess, no stress, or no stress, no mess. Either which way you want to put it, we'll be just fine. And Cliff is like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm gonna go whatever what the wife say. And yeah, we ended up finding out that Miss Latrice done went to she done had some surgery. She had to spend some time in the hospital. Got blood clots from her dang leg all the way up to the groin area. So, don't know how she got them or nothing like that. Or did she say all the way up to the chest? Like that's kind of messed up. But luckily they caught it in time. You always get some type of symptom, which was the pain and the swelling in the leg, which prompted the emergency to the hospital, diagnoses, surgery. She's good. Okay. Um, yeah, so we'll see how this party go whenever she and Latrice actually, or Latrice is Latrice, whenever Latrice and Letitia meet up to see how this interaction goes. Most likely, Glenn might say something to Cliff. I think that I'm gonna see that scenario going, like the man gonna speak, but. Oh snap! I thought Glenn didn't have no job. Okay, well he must have quit the dock boating job. Okay, must have got him a new one. Okay, okay. Scratch that. So Latrice and Marie are going to get ready for Carrie's party together, and they can discuss what's going on in their lives. Obviously, the Marie, throwing shade at Carrie because, she ain't like all that food that she had at that little trip that they took. I don't even know what kind of food she had that day. Was it seafood or something? I don't know, but it was something that Marie didn't like. So she ended up ordering pizza, right? So she said, you know what? I'm gonna get some food first before I even go there. Just in case. But they are excited about the party because of the theme and everything. Whoopty whoopty whoop. And obviously Letitia is gonna bring. If Glenn is coming, Glenn is coming. But just letting Marie know that she's kind of over it, and she don't want to talk about Glenn though. Like, I'm just so over it. The thought of that is just stressful. So whatever. What's up with you and Cedric? And she like, well, I already told you that, well, just basically telling her she found out he was still talking to his ex and all this stuff and whoopty whoopty boop. So he ain't coming to the party, and they are no longer, at least at this moment. So it is what it is. They're gonna get to this party and they're gonna have some fun. We see Selena walk into the party with her man Mike. Is his name Mike too? Okay. But either way, I can't remember. But they look like they're going good, going strong. She's still planning the wedding. She's got a birthday to plan. Look, menopause, because hot flashes. But whatever, going through her life as she got to go through it. But in stride, beautiful, and loving life. We see Tambra, okay, and you know how Tambra be when it comes to this show. Like, she can be there, but is she gonna say anything? Let's say, does she got anything going on with her life? But baby is good. When she turned two or something, and the mind is straight. We see Carrie enter the party. She didn't do like it went. I guess was that supposed to be a grand entrance? I don't know. She probably should have waited a little bit longer to the room fill up. But she came out, and I'm guessing she might do a wardrobe change or not throughout the party. But either way, first outfit is a play on Nia Long's outfit in the movie where she had on a white button up with a black leather jacket. but instead, played it off like a black corset type top with the white top and the jeans. Letitia friend, remember the one? Oh, she was in the other scene with Marie and Letitia trying to help them get dressed or whatever. She was there at the party. Look, she done made it before they did. Dressed pretty much in the same outfit, themed out Nia Long version, but hers was a little bit different and hers added the hat. So I thought that was kind of cute. Latrice and Cliff show up, and Latrice's outfit, I was kind of looking at it too, like, is that really 90s? It's kind of like a negligee dress with a fur. And I'm like, okay, maybe a little Kimish, little Foxy Brown. Okay, I'm trying to think like, maybe like say a little, no, was it Halle Berry? No, maybe a little Vivica Fox. But either way, um, yeah, waiting on everybody else to show up, and pleasantries with everybody. Boo, boo, boo. Oh, that's what it was. The 90s, the snap. Instead of the clap, we're going to do the snap. Keep it, true to the movie, and do a poetry, uh, open poetry night. I can't remember. What do they call it? Is it like poetry night? Is that what you call it? Open mic poetry night. Latrice had to throw a little shade at Marie and Letitia. So I say Latrice and Marie because we thought y'all supposed to be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't friends like that, but we supposed to be cool. And you over here shading me talking about I showing up with no man because I ran all my mans away. And Letitia ain't show up with no Glenn because they break up every other week. So Glendale shows up separately from Latrice, but I guess in his mind, he just excited to see her and just to see where her head at and everything. Maybe she done changed her mind about being independent. I don't know. Bull. But either way, he go in there, like I said, it's not gonna be Latrice and Letitia talking. It's gonna be Glenn. I knew it was gonna be Glenn say it's over first. I knew it. So we go up the cliff because they ain't seen each other in a long time now, right? So he trying to say, hey, what's up? How you been? And Cliff like, I mean, you put me in a bad spot. And Glenn like, well, what? And he like, well, my wife don't want me talking to you or nothing like that because of the whole situation, us being blamed for the whole, Amanda thing and everything. And Glenn is still on it. Well, you supposed to be controlling, you controlling things. And I thought that maybe, you would handle it certain ways, but obviously not. And in the midst of this conversation, Latrice, she peep over and she's like, I don't see him over there talking. Let me go over there because the rules are Cliff can't talk to Glenn. He can say, hey, you can say bye. But ain't no going up in his space, in his area, breathing up in his air and his energy, having conversations and things like that, hanging out, going, nope, 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 nope. Hi, bye, walk away. That's all we need to do. Cliff, come here. I think we get, come here, let me holler at you. Let me holler at you. Yes. And Cliff was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. And so Glenn is obviously taking it back because, dang, for real, that's how you gonna do me? You gonna do it like that? And Cliff like, listen, I said I do. I didn't say I didn't. Perfect answer, Glenn. Take that. You said you do, nigga. Go be a husband. And maybe possibly, I mean, honestly, because the dudes ain't got no beef technically like that until Glenn can get over, what he think Cliff should or shouldn't have not did. But if, maybe he can apologize to Latrice personally, to take accountability for what he was doing with, her friend and all that stuff. And then maybe she can let Cliff talk to you. But and then, she still won't talk to Tisha, but maybe she could let y'all go fishing or something. Latrice was actually about to leave the whole party just because Cliff had went over there and was, well, Cliff didn't go talk to Glenn, but Glenn was talking to Cliff, right? So he was engaging, and that was a big no-no. So she was actually about to leave the party. But Carrie pulled her back and said, no, 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 y'all can do this, y'all can do that. Just ignore that. Y'all cool, Letitia over there. You over here is my party. It's party. Let's just be. So Letitia like, okay, you right. I can enjoy myself and I can completely ignore her over there. And that's what we're gonna do. So with that, Marie, the girls kind of gather a little bit, and obviously, where's Cedric? And she like, girl, Cedric is in his skin. Like, don't be asking me about nobody that ain't here. But she don't, at this moment, it's not the right time to be talking to these girls about what she got going on with him. That's a need to know basis, right? And Carrie is not the one to just be taking these little non-answers, or you know what I'm saying, you just push your stuff to the side. She gonna dig in you just a little bit and be like, okay, like what's going on? Like I'm putting the 2 and 2 together, and I see that it equals that you obviously alone. Okay. single, but we'll get there. Okay, y'all wrote a poem. Okay, let's get to these poems. Okay. All right, so we end up an episode with a couple poems. Mike did one for Selena, Glenn did one for Tisha, and his poem left like an open-ended question, like waiting on her to say "I love you" back, basically, and she just kind of sat silent. And everybody's like, is she gonna say something? You're gonna leave him hanging up there. Ooh, this is embarrassing. But hey, that's where she at in her life, right? It is what it is. Glenn need to, taste a little bit of, his own medicine a little bit. He gotta feel the hurt, right? But it is what it is. That was a cute little first episode, okay? Getting back. Seeing the whole dynamic of the group. So now we know what we got going on. Letitia versus Latrice. Marie back single. Glendale still acting up. And yeah, all the rest of the ladies. Cool. Oh, Mike and Selena. Mike got some little drama going on. So we'll get there when we get there. And this should be a decent season, And thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all next time. Bye.